Hello everybody, it's November 2nd, 2023. Hey, sorry for the lag in time since my last post, but ironically, in my last post I had mentioned about influenza and how in 1918, 1919, 20 to 40 million people died from it. Surprisingly enough, the very next day I woke up and I had influenza A. Also, the person that has been supporting me and helping me out also had influenza A. So I've been taking the time to recover. I chose to recover naturally without using any medications, and the other person chose to go the medical route. And ironically, I think I got better a little quicker. But because of just mentioning it, and immediately after, having influenza A, it sparked a lot of questions. And I've had a lot of questions from viewers in the past wanting to know all about manifestation. Like, oh, it's all exciting. It's like winning the lottery or some magic tricks or something like that. Well, I mean, hey, in one aspect, yes. It is like a magic trick, it would appear. Matter of fact, when I was in Israel and I had Rom that was traveling around with me, and we were in the Sea of Galilee, and he had said that I needed some goggles so I could see underwater since I was wearing my contacts. And I was like, yeah, that would be kind of nice. And then I literally look down at my feet underwater and I see something blue laying on top of them. And I reach down, I pick them up, and it happens to be a set of blue Speedo, goggles without any straps. But ironically, they suctioned to my face perfectly to where I was able to use them as much as I wanted underwater without any concerns. He wasn't able to use them. They wouldn't suction to his face. But one thing that's important to remember about manifestation, the human mind has a tendency to think, ooh, if I could create anything I want, that's amazing. That's, like one of the best parlor tricks ever. Well, let me assure you that it's not really a parlor trick. It's not like you may think. For example, way back in February, when I started this channel, I started posting proof left and right of manifestation, left and right of improved abilities. I have videos on my channel that everybody can look at where all the heat leaves my body and re-enters. First time ever recorded in the world. You have, in essence, the soul leaving the body and re-entering. You can find it. All you have to do is look at my channel. And that's had some of the least amount of views, virtually zero comments, and it hasn't gone viral. Think about that, people. How in the world is that possible? That confirmed thermal imaging footage of a person's soul leaving their body, hovering behind them, and then re-entering their body. But yet, nobody likes, dislikes, comments, and it hasn't gone viral. That brings us to my next point, that manifestations only happen when the people around you believe they can. Those thermal videos, the average person's incapable of even understanding or recognizing what they're seeing. My father, he was awestruck, never even attempted to come up with an explanation. Nobody has ever even attempted to come up with an explanation. It's just because your brain can't accept it. Your brain doesn't know what to think, therefore your brain would have to basically process out of the norm. And it's not going to do that because your brain, until you wake up, is there to protect you. That's your illusion. That's all the negative that you've been taught from the beginning of your existence. But anyway, to answer another question, let's see, what type of manifestations have I seen? Well, I've been able to roast my arm in flames without getting burnt. It's on my channel. Just look way back in February. Been able to predict future that is supposed to be impossible, but yet me saying what was going to happen and then it end up happening. It's undeniable proof. Just like you go back to, look at my channel back in February, March, when I'm begging to speak to Joe Biden and Elon Musk, saying that I have information for them that they're really going to want. You'll see I contacted the FBI. I mean, all of these things, this is why I recorded from the very beginning. Because I knew sooner or later we'd get to the point to where I'd have to use it as rock solid proof that what I'm saying is true. There's zero ego in it for me. Honestly, it just saddens me. It saddens me that there are people in this world that have gained their consciousness, that know truths that could really help other people. In essence, they know how to start fixing our humanitarian crises. But yet the average person is so scared of rocking the boat that they're incapable of even understanding what the person is saying. For example, with this BrainSync Project, I am now, about 5 weeks, maybe even a little longer, 5 weeks into it. And there's definitely something to it. I don't recommend it for the average person. One, you're not even going to understand what's happening. Two, you're not even going to be able to direct your own thoughts once it does start happening. So I do caution you. If you have not become very experienced at meditating, I caution you to be careful if you're going to do this program, because one thing I will assure you is that you will get absolute zero support from the people putting it out. I mean, it's been over a month. I've had an email asking them to please contact me. Nothing. So just recognize that you are on your own. I mean, hey, you got me. If you have any questions, you can email me through my private email at trentsuing@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment here. I recommend sending me an email. It's a little better way to get a hold of me, because what I found is there is a lag on YouTube between when someone posts a question or a comment and when I actually find out about it. So in hopes of avoiding somebody feeling like I don't care to speak to them, your best bet is just go ahead and send me a private email. And that again was TRENTSUING@gmail.com. And now I'll give you a quick, easy. I have a lot of people that have been doing it that way, and I feel they're probably pretty happy with how quickly I'm able to respond back that way. So to give you an idea, manifestation, my opinion on the hype, everybody, that's ultimately, I think, a lot of the people who are looking at this program are looking because they want to manifest their desires. They want to achieve everything in the world they could possibly want. And I respect that. And I know that you can. But realize it's not like, oh, humana, boom, you're just going to get this. The way manifestation basically works is, for myself personally, I don't ask for anything. I mean, I really don't. If I wanted to ask for something, I feel, yeah, I would probably have it rather quickly. But I also am very cautious about doing that. Because one thing I've learned in my life experience of the illusion is you also definitely have to be careful of what you ask for. I mean, hey, we've been taught this all our life. Look at a genie lamp. You know, look at having 3 wishes and what people wish for and yada, yada, yada. So for me, when most manifestations happen for me, or when I don't even conscious or use my 20% of the brain to think of, ooh, I would like to have that. When it happens is when in my heart I just happen to real quickly think, oh, it would be nice to have this. And that's when it appears. For example, if you guys have been following along, when I was in Israel, I was in Facade, the city of Facade. The city on a hill is cannot hide, is the way it's referred to in the Bible. Anyway, there I had wanted to buy a bottle of wine, but the store didn't carry any wine openers at all. And as I'm checking out, somebody happens to walk in from the parking lot and has a wine opener that somebody had dropped, and they don't want it, and they wanted to see if anybody else wanted it, and yada yada. I mean, one of your typical ones that the arms go up, and very standard, low cost wine opener in America. Boom, instantly had it. And then, like the goggles in the Sea of Galilee, I wasn't really even asking, didn't really expect. I just thought that, yeah, it would be cool to be able to see underwater here. And then literally, I looked down at my feet immediately, and there it is. Now, there are other extreme things that one can see and experience, and this is going to sound very extreme, but I have been in the woods, and I have meditated and been able to, if you will, manipulate the pattern of the wind. It's not some voodoo, it's not some magic, it's not anything. It's just literally feeling my vibrations connecting with the vibrations of the wind, and just knowing, not even questioning, just knowing that the wind can calm, or the wind can increase, or change direction that it blows, or move the trees one direction or another. I don't want to get too much into that, because hey, you go all the way back into February and you look at my channel, you will see how careful you have to be when you start accessing manifestation abilities, if you will, that other people think there's no way possible you should be able to, because you or your people closest to you, usually your family, will insist that you must be insane or something's going wrong with you, and there's a good chance they'll try to do to you what my family tried to do to me, and that was have me locked up in a mental institution, which it ended up didn't working because I passed, but that I don't want to rehash all of that. So those of you that are further along in your spiritual journey, that have started to realize that, oh wow, manifestation is a real thing, it's a very real thing, I caution you, do not get an ego about it. Every single religious story out there in existence will tell you the same thing. Do not get an ego about it. Even in the famous Jesus story, when he raises someone from the dead, he basically says, do not tell anybody else about it. Because And no, I do not think I'm Jesus. No, I do not think I can raise people from the dead. I am just telling you my truths. And my truths come from simply out of love. And I am telling you 100% honest of what I have experienced since I have gained my consciousness all the way back in February. I've said it all along that I don't think I am anything special. I just am what I am. You guys have even seen it on my shirt many a times. That's who I am. So just all you really have to do is love yourself, believe in yourself, and believe that what you need will always be there. Because what everybody wants to, figure out, how do you manifest? The way I kind of see it is, it's not even manifesting, because it's been here all along. You just weren't able to actually see it. The goggles. I can see how they have probably been floating in the Sea of Galilee for good chance a couple years. And it just so happened, whether you want to take it from a quantum physics perspective or whatever, it just so happened right then, right there, at that moment, I was conscious enough to see it. Think about that. Everything you desire potentially can be right there in front of you. And once you wake up and learn how to see it, you'll realize it. Takes a lot of mystery out of manifestation, doesn't it? I have a friend of mine, Diane, in the past, where you can see me giving her a lot of stuff on my channel. The day that I was cleaning out my house and getting rid of everything before I headed off on this journey, left and right, I was popping off with things that seemed impossible. For example, she was getting calluses from only working a couple hours, but she wasn't used to that type of work, but she already had calluses on her hands. And she's like, oh man, what am I going to do with calluses, considering the type of work that she does? And I was like, that's crazy. I've never seen calluses develop that quick. And I turn around and I grab in my cabinet and I pull out a full container of anti-callus cream. You better believe I'd never used it. I didn't even know this stuff existed, and it was brand new. And I gave it to her. Now, I have no clue who would have put that in my home. I don't care. I don't have to know. I just think it's cool that it was there. And I was fortunate enough to find it. So, please take the time and try to realize your manifestations are where you want them to be at all times. Now all you have to do is wake up enough so that you can see them. Anyway, enough about manifestation. Back to the BrainSync project. It definitely is kind of a doorway. Gives you little keys, if you will, to open up different doorways in your brain to give you the ability to hit different focus levels. It's common within it to talk about focus level 10. Then you get to focus level 12. Now, when I'm meditating, focus level 10, what I use as a reference is, it's basically when I'm relaxed, I've kind of entered into an out-of-body state, and my focus level is at the outskirts of the atmosphere of Earth, if you will. And then if I proceed on to focus level 12, then I kind of perceive that as being way out in the galaxy. You don't feel heat, you don't feel cold, you don't feel anything, you don't hear anything. You just feel everything. You feel weightless, you feel every single thing in existence. Kind of like these microscopic little tingles throughout your body. And you just allow yourself to be present and be one with every single thing in experience. Now, I have, like, after I left focus level 10, I've kind of just floated around. And if you want a better idea of what it is like being in a meditative state, it's not like dreaming, because dreaming you feel kind of this disconnect. You know that you're not fully awake. Well, when you're in a meditative state, or at least for myself, I feel 100% in control of my body. I feel as if even though I'm in a out of body state, if you will, I still feel attached to my body. I still feel the presence of my body. It's just my soul is, in essence, floating around. Now, things that I've seen from being in a meditative state in a guided meditative state through the BrainSync Project, I've actually seen myself around on the outside around the space station, looking in the windows and actually feeling like literally looking in the windows of the space station, everything going on normal, nobody even knows I'm there. Been actually able to also turn around, if you will, and just see everything in existence that's taking place on Earth right now. And I have wanted to weep, because those of us in the world that are conscious, on the higher levels of conscious, or even those of you that are on lower level consciousness, in essence, survival consciousness, you know that the world is in a bad way. You know that everything is spiraling downward incredibly quickly. Whether you're religious or not, you know that there's some alignment with these religious stories that's kind of creepy. I mean, hey, stop for a second and look at China. Look at what China is trying to accomplish right now. They are setting themselves up to become the world leader. Russia will follow in behind them, yada, yada, yada. Look at the math. Look at what's taking place. Look at what China's been working on over the last 20 years. Look at what China is outright saying. And it's very obvious. Look at who China has conflicts with. Look at who the United States has allies with. Look at who Russia has conflict with. Look at who the U.S. has allies with. Look at Iran. Look at Russia's relationship with Iran. Look at Israel. Look at the United States' relationship with Israel. You realize the quickest diminishing religion, if you will, the one that's decreasing the quickest, is actually Christianity around the world. And back at the beginning of this channel, I had made a comment to my father. I said that I felt where Christianity messed up was the feeling that Israel will always be, the Holy Land and yada, yada, yada. For me, it feels almost like saying that is the same way as saying a cemetery is a wise investment. Well, sooner or later, it's not. And if Israel falls, if Jerusalem, in essence, disappears, the Holy Land, all of this, what do you do with the New Testament? I mean, stop and think about it. If the world reaches this state that we're headed to really quickly, and say Jerusalem disappears, what does that do to the New Testament? Now that's a scary thought. But hey, what do I know? Anyway, from Thailand, this is Trent again, and I just want to tell you guys I love you. I hope I gave you an idea on manifestation. I am leery to say too much because, I mean, back in February, I did have people coming at me in full force. There were 2 attempts on my life. So obviously, I learned from my past. But that doesn't mean that I have anything to hide. That doesn't mean that I don't still feel a tremendous amount of love for everybody, including myself. It just means I need to hold on to the reins a little bit tighter and spoon feed a little bit, if you will. But I'm going to get off for now. I will be posting again here in the near future since I have the gift of gab and I haven't had an opportunity to talk in a while. So I'll talk to you guys again soon. I love you. Bye-bye.